Three, two.
What is going on, everyone tuning in? It's Hunter Lippincott with FreeSauce, hosted by Panda Podcast. Today, I got my man Nick Vendetti with me. What's going on, brother? How you
What's
doing?
up, man? Thank you for having me.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
excited.
Yes, sir. So Nick is a good buddy of mine. He is a barber. He's been doing his thing for a while now, and he's made his way up to cutting some celebrities. And he's been in the game killing it now. So we'll start with your upbringing. We'll go right into like how you even just thought that this was a path that you want to get into. So we'll start with that. What was your family life growing up? Like as far as like getting into entrepreneurship and starting your business there.
Family life, like me and my family were tight. Like me and my brother, best friends. Always had that family support for me. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's big.
Yeah, and it was tough like becoming a barber because I was going to school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I literally was just cutting hair in the garage, like cutting my boys after school. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yep.
So it was more like a chill thing. And then I started going to school, and I was like, dude, this is tough.
Yeah.
I was never good at school. You know what I mean?
Right.
Math couldn't do. I went to community college for engineering though,
Okay.
and dude, like
Completely
the
different path.
math was insane.
Yeah.
I'm failing pre-calc, and they're like, you got three other things you have to hit, and I'm like, this just ain't gonna work out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I started looking up like barber salary. Right? You look it up on Google, it's like 25,000 a year.
Right.
I'm like, dude, I can't support a family with that. Yeah, I start thinking ahead. You know what I mean? And I kind of just dove in. I was like, fuck it. Like, I see what people are making,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna be an entrepreneur with it and make it more than what it is.
That's so big too, because it's like people get complacent. They see like that salary and they're like, all right, this is something I'm passionate about. I know obviously school wasn't your thing, so you wanted to go the barber route.
Right.
But like people would look at that and be like, oh, okay, salary, cool. This is what I like. Let's do it. But you obviously took that next step to be like, no, I'm owning it. Like I'm the boss of this
Yeah,
this
like you
shit.
said,
So
like when you look at a salary, that's kind of like a ending point.
Yeah.
In some jobs.
Yep.
With entrepreneur and barbering, there's so many different avenues you could hit.
Yeah.
And still, you know what I mean? There's like, you could open product lines. There's some barbers out there that are like killing it.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
Yeah.
millionaire barbers. Like, it's endless.
right.
So it was a really good like trade to go into, and I didn't know what to expect. But now that I'm there, it's just like, dude, I'll like recommend that for anyone coming up
Right.
to become a barber.
Right. And now, obviously, with something like this, starting your own thing, obviously there was a lot of hustle going into it. What were the hours looking like putting into your craft? Was it like every day you were cutting hair? Was it just when like your boys were available?
It was more like a passion. So
Yeah.
like it really, in the beginning, it wasn't like I was making $5 a haircut.
Yeah.
I didn't care about the money. You know what I mean? I was working at ShopRite for years.
Yeah.
And it was more just like I just loved cutting hair. Like,
Right.
I'll watch it, like, dude, even now, like I've been cutting for 12 plus years,
Yeah.
10 plus years, whatever. And at night, I'll just scroll. I'm just watching haircuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just
It's
embedded in me.
yes,
You know what I
and
mean?
that's
So-
that's what makes you great at like what you do. It's just
Yeah.
that's all you're thinking about nonstop, thinking about your craft, and like obviously that shows to where you can get the point where you're killing haircuts now,
Right.
and you have people coming in like that are big names, paying top dollar for a haircut because they know you're the guy. So
Yeah, and I mean, in the beginning, like you could look at barber. Now barbers make good money cutting hair.
right, right,
So now kids are like, "Ooh, dude, I can make really good money." I see a barber with a nice car, house,
Right.
this. It's a whole different. Social media made it a whole different industry,
absolutely.
and that's the craziest part. Like that you could grow that much barbering, but it's mixed with social media. You know what I mean?
So
Nowadays.
that was obviously what I wanted to touch on there. So as far as your personal brand goes, because I know you take like social media seriously, you're always posting cuts, making sure
Yeah.
people see it. How was it for you? Were you always doing social media when you started?
I'll be honest, my brother kind of got me into it. Him becoming the videographer,
Yeah.
like photographer. It's just so clutch. Like he gets me these dope photos.
Yeah.
And it's funny, whenever I cut a new client, they're like, dude, you're a videographer? You go to weddings on the
Yeah,
weekends too?
yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's crazy. But then I tell them, like, nah, that's my brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But their name is Vendetti Visuals.
Nice. Okay.
So they think it's me too.
yeah.
But he just helped me out a lot. He runs my the barbershop page. So when you look at that, like, it's funny. I'll post a picture on there, and he's like, "Dude, delete it. It don't look right on the page."
He has that creativity to
yeah,
him.
he has that like mind to it. So he definitely helped me out with social media a lot.
Right.
I'm new at it, so I just like what I like posting. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. Yeah, whatever
I
feels
kind
right.
of mix it with barbering, social life, you know,
Yep.
all that.
Absolutely. And then as far as like let's say your personal brand and just posting on there and him keeping up with the content, do you think that drove your sales and people coming through the shop a
Oh
lot
yeah,
more? 100%.
yeah. Just like all my new clients I get,
Yeah.
it's not like 10 years ago where a walk-in comes in and you're like, yeah, dude, I'm free. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
People will go on social media, they'll go on Instagram before they walk into a barbershop now.
Yeah.
So now they look for that barber that's posting crazy content, good haircuts.
Right.
And it's funny because when new clients book with me, like my new client haircut price is 150.
Right.
So it's pretty high. So
Yeah.
when people come in, they look up a photo of a haircut they want, and that's all social media.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
they show me a picture of like one of the haircuts I did. So I'm like, and I always ask, how'd you find me? They're like, Instagram, bro.
Crazy.
Looked up Philly haircuts.
But that's good for you to know that that's where they're coming
Exactly.
to.
Yeah. That's why I always ask that.
Yeah.
And even the barbers in the shop, I'm like, yo, ask the new clients how they heard about you. That's huge.
That's huge. Yeah.
Because
you know where to put your focus now.
and it helps me with running ads for the other barbers.
Very nice.
So we have an advertisement in the Cherry Hill Mall, and it's just like a panel in there.
Okay.
You can see it by
Yeah.
the food
Yeah.
court.
Okay.
So that was huge because when people move here, where do they go? The mall.
Right.
So whenever one of the barbers cuts a new guy, I'm always like, yo, how'd you hear about us? And they'll say that, and now I know, like, all right, that's a good advertisement. That's working.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's huge too.
And I know for me too, like back in the day, David Jones, obviously a good buddy of you.
Yeah.
Sean Gaddy was one of my buddies growing up in Lenape, and I would always see him post, and I'd be like, wow, this is the first barber through your page where I was seeing social media take a place in like the business and growing it.
Yeah.
Because barbers back in the day, like you said, weren't doing that. Like you're using it to your advantage, obviously, to get people in.
Right.
So
And
that's huge.
I kind of like push that on my guys too, because they see my page, like, they see my photos.
Yeah.
So like when a new barber comes into my shop, I'm pretty good at taking photos. You know what I mean? I take all my haircut photos. My brother takes all the shots of us in the shop, but like I'll show them how to enhance their haircuts
Right.
with the nice camera and all that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they appreciate that too, because that's a huge part of it. And
Right.
just social media in general just grows a business like tenfold.
Right.
It's nuts.
Absolutely. So we'll get back to, I know you said you've been cutting for like 10 to 12 years now.
Yeah.
How long ago was it when you first opened that first shop?
4 years.
4 years.
Shop was 4 years. And
Okay.
It was during COVID, which sucked.
So we'll get into that now.
Yeah.
So as far as like, okay, I'm going all in, I'm starting, and I'm getting a space for my craft. How was that road? Like, was that rocky? Was it like finding a team that was hard? Like,
That's the hard part.
What was the, let's say, what was the work that went into starting that shop?
Like a little lowdown, like a little breakdown of how it works. So me and my fiance now, we were driving down Route 70 every time back to my house. And one time she pointed out this spot right next to Primo's Hoagie, and she's like, look at that spot, because we were looking for a spot. And we went in there, it was vacant,
Yeah.
It was all destroyed, bricks on the wall, like it was nuts. I'm like, this is never gonna work out. So I just reached out to the guy. He's actually really cool. He owns the Primos.
Okay.
And like, it's kind of a blessing because he was such a good landlord, first landlord.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
important. That's very
that's
important.
huge. Yeah. So he helped me out a lot. Just that process of doing that, he knew I was new at it, so he helped me through it. He like helped me like get a lawyer. Like I really appreciate him for that, because a lot of landlords wouldn't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So he helped me out a lot with that process, and it was just me and my family. We just like, as we went on, we just learned. You know what I mean?
Really? Yeah.
And that's like a huge thing that I've realized, even with this new shop. Like, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
You learn as you go.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
like,
There's never a good time to start. It's now. So
exactly. Yep.
and that's a big part of like going and chasing your dream. Everyone wants that perfect moment.
Yeah.
And like your sign through God was literally your fiance saying, "That's our spot
that's
right
the
there."
spot.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
and you would have never known. So
Exactly.
nice. Okay.
Yeah. So that was the process of doing it isn't like terrible. You know what I mean? Like, I had like my money in check, and the landlord was real cool with it.
Right.
And the hard part is finding barbers, finding a team
Okay.
that's willing to put in the work. It's tough.
Yeah.
As a new barber, bro.
Yeah.
Like, building a clientele, like, those slow days hurts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
there's days you could cut one person, You just gotta wake up and do it again.
Right.
And eventually you grow.
Yeah.
You know, but that comes with being in a good work environment, being with a good barbershop. All that matters.
Right.
So,
And investing into your people, like you just said, like you're having people that you like to be surrounded by every day.
oh yeah,
And that makes it a lot easier because you guys
Absolutely.
all work harder.
yeah. And dude, you see them more than you see your family.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
that's huge.
So like a lot of people say when they get into business, it's like you have your blood family, and then obviously that's not your blood family, but in a way that's your family, like you
Yeah.
just said, because it makes that business grow. So if you're investing and showing love in your people, like making sure that their pages look like yours to drive traffic, that's only
Right.
helping you.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
And it's crazy because like when I hire barbers, like I hear the situations they were put in before, and some of these owners like are just like treating them like shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like you treat them right, they treat you right, your
Yeah.
business is right.
Yeah.
It just it goes back and forth. You know what I mean? Like
And to know that as a young business owner is so, like now especially,
Yeah.
is huge, because there's so many bosses people don't want to work for just because they don't care. They care
No,
about their
facts.
checks.
Yeah.
So.
money, 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 money.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. You got to care about the people before the money, for sure.
Exactly.
All right, so we'll talk a little about investing here. So obviously, I know, you're making your money, doing your two shops now, and you obviously just started this next location here. We'll talk a little bit later about that. But as far as investing outside of the business, is there anything that you're looking to expand and 2x on, whether that's real estate or crypto or anything like that you're putting your money into?
I mean, I think crypto is pretty interesting. I just never got into it.
Yeah.
I just started like putting my money in smart places. Like instead of just putting it in a bank account, that just sits there. I see
Yeah.
the same numbers
Yep.
just there.
Yep.
You could put it into another financial account, and it grows.
Yeah.
You see it grow.
Right.
So that's one big thing I just started doing. What was the other thing you said?
Anything with like real estate or any
Real estate.
properties like that?
Yeah, so me and my brother, we had our first real estate property, and it was going good, but
Yeah.
we recently had to go to court with our tenants. So, like,
Okay.
it's shit you don't expect.
Yeah, sometimes
dude,
it
at
just
first it was
happens.
going so smooth. I'm like, dude, this is so easy.
Yeah.
We're gonna drop 3 more of these.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now, like, the tenants, they switch up, and they missed rent 2 months in a row.
Right.
And Jersey's crazy because you can't just kick them out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
Right.
have to go to court.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain money build up. So like we might lose out on some rent money,
Right.
but we want them out.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's been a struggle.
Right.
And you think it's gonna be just easy peasy, but shit hits you. So,
Yeah, that's true. You never know what to expect. So
Yeah.
obviously you have these 2 locations coming up here, and I also saw that you have like a clothing line.
Yeah.
So how did that idea get started? Was that just like hand in hand with you opening up that new spot?
I just always that's something I always wanted was a brand.
Okay.
So like even when I was building the name up, right? When you start with your name of your business, that's like the most exciting part.
Shout that out so they can find you there. Creators, right?
yeah, Creators,
Okay.
yep.
Creators, guys, go check them out. Barbershop and Creators apparel as well.
Yeah, so starting that was I used to write out on piece of paper, Creators, something else, like coming up with ideas.
The
you know?
vision.
So it's actually funny. My first name was New Creators, and I was like, I just put it on T-shirts, and I was looking at it, I'm like, something's off.
Yeah.
And I looked up like big company names, like Gucci, like all these big designer names, and a lot of them are one word, simple one words. So then I just cut it down to Creators, and I wanted my name on the building. You know what I mean? I wanted Vendetti on top.
Right.
That's huge for me.
Right.
But business wise, you can't brand your name like that. You know what I mean? It's tough to get people to work for you with your name on the building.
Right.
You want them to be a part of a brand. So that's when I just like went with Creators, and I loved it. And then from there I was like, you know what? I'm going to do clothing. Like I always wanted to be in like fashion, and it's just fun.
That's
it's another
smart.
fun part of it. Same with hair products. That's a huge part of barbering. You can make a lot of money doing that, and that's been one of my recent goals, is trying to push that more.
Okay.
Because we do have some good product that I got overseas, and I like brand it, labeled, all that, and we sell it at the shop.
Right.
So I'm trying to get that online and get that really out there.
Good.
But it's all under the name Creators. You know what I mean? So starting with that name, you got to be careful, because that name is everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you could branch off into different avenues, like Creator Culture is the clothing brand.
Very smart.
Creators
very smart.
Barber Studios is the barber shop.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that was just one thing. The name is huge for me.
Huge. And I feel like with a lot of like restaurants or something like that, you can get away with like a last name.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
you know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean?
Absolutely. Yep.
Are you Italian as well?
Yeah.
Or no?
100%,
Okay,
yep.
yeah. So like, you know, you see a lot of these like pizza places and it's like the last name of
Yeah.
something,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like that works, but in your line, it's like exactly, you just were a student in the game. You saw what Gucci, Fendi, what all these places were doing, and you saw that it was a one-word thing.
Yeah.
So obviously
Just
you went
simple.
with it.
Just
Simple.
keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that works. So, all right. So we'll get into more of like the more exciting things, what people like seeing on social media and stuff like that. So obviously when you first start out, you're pretty much taking any client you can get, right? Any walk-in.
Yeah.
And now obviously you're at the point where you've established it to where you pretty much only take appointments, right?
Yeah, and most of the guys in the shop, that's kind of what I push.
Yeah.
Just because you build a clientele, you grow with that clientele. Then when you're in demand, now you go up in price. You don't want to stay at the same price. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's just like the world.
Right.
Everything goes up.
Yep. Exactly.
So,
So
that-
adapting with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
So
and then sorry.
no, you're
to cut
good.
you
You're good.
off. So obviously you started with, you know, clients you were getting that like, you know, just anybody walking in, Joe Schmo, right?
Right.
Now obviously you've built yourself to a point where you're taking on people like Eagles players. How did connections like that?
Social media.
Really?
Yeah, that like to be honest, it's not like I never really reached out to any of them.
Yeah.
I'm not that type of guy to like see someone come here from another team. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
be like, hey, dude, I got a barbershop around here.
Right.
Like, so just social media in general, like, them just seeing your page, they see your work, you know, and how it mainly got started is the first person I cut was Jalen Mills. This was at an old barbershop I
Yeah.
used to work at.
Was that the Green Goblin back then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his manager found me on Instagram, like reached out to me. They were going to a Sixers game that night, and they need a last minute cut. And I had clients, and I was like, dude, I'll stay after for you, like whatever.
Nice.
Cut him and his boy. Cut him a couple times, and then that was it with him. And then once I got to my shop, Creators in Marlton, Darius Slay hit me up. And he lives in Medford.
Okay.
So then he came to me. I cut him and his two boys on my lunch break because I was booked.
Yeah.
You know, but he hit me up, and you got to make room.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity that you got to sacrifice and make happen.
That's big. And a lot
Yeah.
of people don't see like the work that really goes into it, those extra hours.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's what's going to push you to
Yeah.
have opportunity like that.
And the craziest part is if I didn't accept that, like if I didn't cut him on my lunch break, I wouldn't have got Hertz. I wouldn't have got Devontae. So me cutting him on my lunch break, after I cut him, he reposted me. Once he reposted me, Jalen DM'd me right away.
That's power, bro. Social media is so big.
For real.
It's crazy.
So
but
he DM'd me right away, and I stayed after that same day to cut him.
Yeah.
I cut him. I did a design on his, like, never cut him in my life. You know what I mean? He wanted a design. He was real cool. Cut him. Boom. Was cutting him for his whole journey, all when he got drafted here to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was huge. And then it was funny because when Devontae got drafted here, everyone's like, dude, you're going to be cutting Devontae, Heisman, whatever. And Devontae made a post saying, like, he'll never cheat on his barber, all this shit. So I was like, you know, I'm not going to reach out to him, but if it happens, it happens. And to make it quick, one day Hertz just put me in a group chat with him. I was like, yo, my boy Devontae, he wants a cut.
Come on now.
And like I said, bro, you got to take that opportunity. So
Yeah.
I went to his house that night, cut him. It was funny when I went there, he was on FaceTime with his old barber.
Yeah.
And he hands me the phone. He don't say a word. He just hands me the phone. And I'm talking to his barber, and he's like, bro, I seen your Instagram. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Of course.
I seen your stuff. You're really good. Like, I'm passing you the baton. I'm not going to be able to fly out there. Just know he'll never go to another barber. I'm the only other barber he ever cut, like, that.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so that was huge because I started cutting him ever since that. And he don't get cut by nobody else.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not even offended when people get cut by other barbers. You
I
know
was
what
just
mean?
going to go into that. Like, what's
I
the
don't
stigma
care.
with, like, the...
I mean, it's like, if you see, like, another barber cut him, it's cool. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't want to come back,
Yeah.
like, some people are happy with different barbers.
Right,
So, like,
right.
I don't take offense to it.
Right.
And a lot of the barbers in my shop cut all my clients.
Okay.
It's just like an overflow. And then,
Yes.
you know, I charge a higher price, so they might want to go to someone else.
Right.
And they cut them for half the price, and it's better than my haircut.
Right.
You know what I mean? You never
okay.
know.
Yeah, that works. And you're driving business to them anyway, so it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Okay.
And I'm helping out the guys. So,
Yeah.
yeah, social media, bro, just
It's
grows
so
you so
big.
much.
It is. And even just like without, I don't know if you were doing it or your brother was doing it with his photography, but like even before like the business ideas, you guys were still posting just your lifestyle, and like
Yeah.
you knew how powerful it would be, and now to see it in full effect that you're able to scale your businesses is
Yeah.
like another level.
Dude, because like even if you go like when people follow me, right? I'll click on their name.
Yeah.
And if they got 3 posts, I'm not like I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be like stingy, but I'm not following you. I want
Right.
to see some cool shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to see some shit I can learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even with you, like with the podcast, I like looking at that shit.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's,
Right. And so important what you just said, like to touch on that, it's like nobody really cares about you. They care what you can provide for them. So like you just said, the value that you're getting from someone else, they deserve a follow.
Right.
I'm self-educating myself now to the point where I'm getting free value. So why not?
Yeah. No,
So-
that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Because like people that in another state, they don't know you.
Yeah.
They don't care about you.
Right.
They don't care about your family.
Right.
But they care about what you post.
Yeah.
And you'll get a follow from certain shit you post.
That's so big, bro.
Yeah.
That is. So going back to Mills, you said was like your first NFL guy, right?
General, yeah.
Okay. So obviously social media got him through to check out your stuff, but then was it pretty much like you said, word of mouth throughout like the team? Or were they looking at your Instagram? He sent you like the page and said, "Yo, check out this guy."
I would say like certain people. Like I also cut Zach Bryan.
Oh, the country singer.
Yeah,
Really?
Dude, I used to go to his house every Monday and cut him.
Nice.
Yeah, he would be literally getting off a plane and like I'll be outside knocking on the door and I hear him singing upstairs.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
that was crazy. And
Yeah.
that's actually a really funny story, but I don't know if you want me to go into that.
For sure, let's do it. Come on.
So I got a random DM from his sister. I think it's his sister. She's his manager.
Okay.
She got like 300 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, I have a high profile client, wants a haircut." And I just blew it off. Like I'm just like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, right.
This lady has no
You didn't know what to
followers.
expect, yeah.
She has a picture with her dog like hanging out. I'm like, who is this? So I ignored it, and then she hit me up again. I was like, hey, still like just wondering. And I was like, who's the client? She's like, I can't tell you. And I'm like, what? Like I'm like, I cut like football players.
Yeah.
Like Tobias Harris one time.
Right.
So it's like they never hit me with this. So I was like, well, I need to know who I'm cutting. And she's like, well, you need to sign an NDA form. I didn't even know what that shit was.
I would have known it was legit right there. I would have.
Yeah, it's like
okay.
a non-disclosure.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So they sent it to me. It's a huge thing in my email, paragraphs, blah blah, all this shit like legal stuff. And I'm like, oh my god, what the hell is going on here? So I sent it to my one boy, and his friend's a lawyer, so she looked at it and she saw the name and it said Zach Bryan like in the fine print, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. I don't listen to country music. I do now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, who the fuck is this? So I sent it to my one boy that likes country music. He's like, bro, he's huge.
Wow.
Look him up. And he got, I looked him up. He got like 2 million followers. I'm like, fuck it. I'll cut him.
That's insane. So that was also through Instagram.
That was Instagram.
Wow. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, it really is. And, dude, I was cutting him every Monday for like freaking $800 a haircut.
Really?
It was crazy, yeah. And I was like, let me lock this in. So I would like take time out of my day off, sacrifice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would go cut him at his house for a couple weeks straight. And it just got to the point where like they would want me on demand.
Yeah.
They would want me on a Friday, and I'm like, dude, I got clientele.
Right.
So it just kind of didn't work out from there. And then he ended up moving and all that stuff. So
I think the route that you went to do your own thing and kind of be stationed in Jersey is like you're brilliant for it, because like you just said, people fly out barbers all the time. You could be traveling to do all these things, and you probably have in the past, but to have your own spot, that's really smart, because obviously you have consistent clientele coming through.
Yeah, and that's the tough part. Like when you're hopping from shop to shop, you want to be in like a home base.
Yeah.
No clients like to just follow you. Like even when we go into the new shop, like Cinnaminson, it's like 20 minutes. Like I'm gonna lose some people.
Right.
But I'm willing to like sacrifice that. I know they're gonna be going to the barbers in my shop now. You know what I mean? So I'm chilling.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to rebuild. I have to rebuild a whole new area.
Right.
Like it's scary, but I'm doing it.
It's a risk. It's another risk on top of how you started. So all right, so let's get into like, let's just say, I know there's so many like there's memes out there and there's a bunch of BS, but like there's a bunch of barbershop gossip. Like, what was the funniest story that had like everyone in your store cracking up on? Like, do you remember one time that was like a good time where like you guys were in there telling jokes or stories?
I mean, dude, it's like that's every day.
I was gonna say it's probably
Yeah, it's
endless.
like, bro, you're hanging around 5 other dudes, like-minded guys like you, talk about sports,
Right.
and like that's why like some barbershops have women in there.
Yeah.
My fiance, she's a barber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she works in like a smaller shop in Audubon. She loves it, but like it's a different atmosphere. Like when you're in a shop with all dudes,
Yeah.
you got sports on the
Yeah,
TV,
right.
you got all guys coming in, and we got moms coming in, and we turn down the music.
Yeah.
You got, what I mean.
You know who your market
you're literally
is.
hanging around your friends all day. We play video games.
Nice.
Go out to lunch. It's fun.
That's
it's
good.
real fun. Yeah.
And that obviously goes in with like investing in good people to keep the business running. So like that's exactly what we were just talking about earlier. Yeah. So that's big.
Yeah. And like you're laughing, you're joking around all day. You're bombing on people. You're joke. You know what I mean? That's that atmosphere.
And that's what people love. People actually, I know it's fun for you guys in itself. Like it's honestly like more of like a hobby, and like it probably feels like you're not working at this point.
Exactly.
But like even your clients are laughing and having a good time.
And,
like
and you try to give them that environment, that fun environment. And dude, there's some people that come in and are like, "Oh, this place is way too flashy.
Yeah.
Like, this is not for you."
I gotta stop by the way. Is it like a newer modern type of look in there?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like you'll walk in and you're gonna be like, "Holy shit, this is fire."
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we got good music playing. Like we're all chill guys.
Yeah.
Dude, it's fun.
So shout out to the people. We'll talk about your first location there. So you said it's in Marlton. What's the address for that so people can go?
386 West Route 70, Marlton, New Jersey.
Okay. All right. Check that out if you're in the South Jersey area.
It's
guys.
Right next to Primo's, across from ShopRite.
Okay.
Yeah, the address is kind of weird. Sometimes it brings it to a whole different area.
Right.
And we'll get a call like, "Dude, I'm at a funeral home right now." I'm like, I don't know how, but
yeah.
You know where we're at.
Well, that was the same deal with King of Gaines actually back in the day. He used to have a old nutrition store.
Yeah.
And before he even started his other section, it would take you to that nutrition place, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is definitely not the gym." So that's
exactly.
Okay, that's cool. So we'll get into a little bit more on like how exactly do you think right now, like what are your plans for making your businesses more efficient? Like, are you putting all your money into this and focus into this new unit that you're getting in Cinnamon here?
Not all of it. You can't leave everyone high and dry. You know what I
right.
mean? Like I'm running both businesses.
Right.
The first one is running great, and the barbers are established there. It's running good. The new one needs more work.
Yeah.
Obviously. So, it needs more time.
Yeah.
It needs more focus on that. Like I got to build it up.
Right.
Right now we're literally painting walls right now. So we're almost there.
Are you there pretty much every day working on? Obviously, aside from what you're doing at your other shop.
It's both. I have a contractor this time
Okay.
around. Like, dude, the first shop it was me and my parents.
Yeah.
Me and my parents, girlfriend, brother, family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That gets you through it. So I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I just subleased, hired people for this. Like this time around, I'm paying people to do it. Like
Okay.
because you made money off the first shop. I did that so I could build another shop.
Right.
So I'm using that money for that while I can still cut hair.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay. And then going back to like your childhood there, I know you said you had a great family. That is so important with starting what you want to do, because a lot of tradition in America is like a lot of people push their kids to go to college. They push them to go right into like a job that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
How important was that for you to have like, your loved ones actually being like so happy for you to go all in on what you loved?
Yeah, that was pretty cool to see because like they'll support me in anything I do. You know what I mean? And it's funny because the way they realized I was gonna be a barber, like I said, I was working in ShopRite, and the manager there was really cool, dude. I used to cut people in the back of ShopRite.
Really?
Yeah, next to the fucking strawberries, and I actually got fired because of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Long story short, I lost my phone. I flipped out, like wrecked the whole back room. So they went on the cameras, and the manager looked on the cameras and saw me cutting hair and was like, "Dude, like, I own this place for 25 years. I never seen this in my life. I have to fire you." So when my mom heard that, she's like, "It was destined."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like shit like that.
She saw the grind though that you were doing.
Yeah.
So that's big.
And they know like school was not for me. I used to have like 2 teachers around me. Like it's just not. It's not what it was. You know what I mean?
And it's crazy. A lot of people like that I see, even myself, I see on social media. It's like the kids that didn't excel and didn't like school are killing it as entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
obviously you see it in yourself. So
yeah, that is true.
yeah.
But like I said, my brother, he wasn't good at school either.
Right.
He became a personal trainer, and honestly, it's tough to make money as a personal trainer.
Right.
And when I was kind of here in the garage, like how I'd started, my brother would take little videos of me. So like that's literally how he got started. So me and him both kind of started in the garage. And dude, he's doing $20,000 weddings now, like videography, like photography.
I saw his stuff, that drone shots.
So like
and
it's a blessing, honestly, because the job he does now, he has 2 kids, so he could be around his family. Like if you're a personal trainer, you're working regular hours.
Yep.
So it's just, dude, we're just blessed.
And that for you to both come up on the same type of time to where you're both starting your own business and having that support to where you're grinding and seeing how you have to start from cutting in the back of ShopRite to cutting in people's houses to where now you have your own spot is like, and he just started his own spot too, right? You said, or opening up like a home office.
Yeah, they did like a home office because like his wife will like edit in the house. Yeah. But they got 2 kids running around like screaming at her. So they actually got this shed built in the backyard, and he's building a crazy office in there.
Right. So I mean, you both have seen that struggle to where obviously now things pan out. So that's huge.
Yeah, and like you said, just dude, supportive family is huge.
Yeah. And not everyone has that, so definitely be grateful for every minute of that, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ty. Okay, perfect. All right, so at the end, we'll get right into it. It'll be easy. All right, so the way we wrap up things here on this podcast is we have everybody next to me give one piece of advice, one free sauce for everybody that would want to be in your spot, and what it was for you. What's the one thing? Was it consistency? Was it investing right? What was that one free sauce for you to get to where you are now with being a barber?
Let me think about that. Because honestly, I think it's just, you got to take the risk.
Yeah.
It's scary. You know what I mean? Like, with no risk, there's no story.
Yeah.
So, like, even when I was opening this second shop, I really doubted myself in a way. I'm like, dude, new area, Cinnaminson, not familiar with that area. And, like, if you don't, and I just thought to myself, I'm like, dude, if you don't do this, you're just staying where you are.
Yeah.
You have to take risks to grow.
Wow.
That's like anything you do. Yeah. Like, if you're scared to do something and you do it, you will feel 10 times better after you do that. And you just learned something and you grew from that. But you took a risk. So that's like one thing.
That's game.
Yeah, that's one thing I really like hold deep is just taking risks.
Yeah.
You got one life. You know what I mean? So like, why are you just gonna stay still and not risk what you want to do? You know
Let's go, bro. That was one of the best piece of advice that we got here, because it's so true. It's so simple. If you don't take that risk, there's 0 reward.
Yeah. You're literally doing exactly what you were doing before you took that risk.
Yep.
And even with you with this podcast, like, I bet you mad people want to do this.
Yeah.
Or like looking at videos of you doing this, like, dude, that's dope.
Yeah.
But they're not taking the risk.
Right.
You took the risk. You're getting people in here. This is fire.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're learning stuff.
Yes,
Everyone's learning off it. I think it's dope. So.
My guy, Nick Vendetti, guys, check out his stuff. Creators Barbershop. He's got one in Marlton. He's opening up in Cinnaminson now. He's killing the game. Stay tuned for him. Big year. Let's go.
Yes, sir.